Welcome back, everybody, to the Omniverse Comics Guide podcast. We are your Omniverse Comics Guide guys. As you can see, I'm Eric Anthony. That's my pal Dave
Hello.
Molyneux. Did I say it right? I
Yeah,
said it
close
right.
enough.
Close enough. Everybody who's with us watching on Twitch, thank you for hanging out. We appreciate it. Everybody who's watching on YouTube, give us that thumbs up, the bell. What do they call it there? The notification
The
and
bell
the
end.
subscribe. Yes, that'd be very, very helpful. And if you're listening on any other podcast platform, do the same there. Give us a review, comment, tell us what you like, what you don't like. But most importantly, omniversecomics.guide, where you go for your reading reviews. Your, I can just tell someone said something in the chat. Your reading reviews, your podcast, your creator item specials, your interviews with creators, collector item specials. That's what it's called. Anyways, I'm sure Omega Bread said something that messed up Dave, that messed up me. Thank you, Omega.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Omniversecomics.guide. My pal Dave's reading orders are second to none.
Oh, stop it, you.
Let's begin. Dave.
Incoming for July 2025.
Yes. So July is a pretty good month. A lot of stuff to look forward to. Stuff I don't think has ever been released. Some things that they're re-releasing and reformatting. So it's an interesting month, full of stuff.
Okay, my first for this evening is Zombie Tales Complete Collection. It's from Boom Studios and it is by Mark Waid, Keith Giffen, Steve Niles, Carl Kiesel, Tom Payer, Ming Doyle, Tom Fowler, Ron Lim, Fabio Moon, and more. It's 428 pages. It collects Zombie Tales, Zombie Tales Oblivious, Zombie Tales the Dead, and Zombie Tales the Series 1 to 12. So I'm not normally much of a zombie guy, but I saw Mark Waid's name on it, to be honest, and that was what sold it to me.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent row of creators there listed on that book. You're gonna get a quality story somewhere within
Well,
those 12 issues for sure.
yeah, I mean, I think it's an anthology. I'll tell you what. Yeah, it is an anthology. For this one, I will read the blurb because this is new. This is entirely new to me. The ultimate zombie anthology has risen from the grave, and it's still hungry. This collection has something for every type of zombie fan, featuring work from the likes of all those people I just listed, among a host of other horror heavies. Apparently, and this new collection reassembles the complete series in a single volume for the first time. And yeah, 428 pages. So it's edging towards chunker territory, but you know,
We like them chunker. We like them chunky.
we do like them chunky, don't we?
Yeah, why not? They need love too.
Don't they just?
Nice pick. I wasn't on my radar at all. That's why I depend on you for these
Obscure
hidden
pieces.
gems,
Ooh.
because you know what a hidden gem is.
Whatever do you mean?
Very nice. All right. My first pick is volume 2 of a omnibus set that I had listed, I think, previously on our Most Wanted Omnis episodes. It's the Captain America Mark Gruenwald Volume 2. This is a very extensive run. I think he was on Captain America almost as long as Peter David was on the Hulk.
Yeah,
Somewhere in
there'll
the
be about 4
ballpark.
volumes for this.
So this volume here is a key volume. I think the first one has a lot of strong material that really builds to the crescendo where this picks up from, and it's after issue 350. Wait, issue 350 is after the Cap No More or the beginning?
Yeah, the Captain runs from 332, I think, to 350, and then there's kind of an epilogue in 351, and then this is where Kieran Dwyer is firmly in the artist seat, and then Ron Lim comes along later, and it establishes a relationship with Diamondback a lot more, which I loved. I loved this. This was when I first started picking up Captain America comics. So my first issue was 354 with what looked like Cap in his old the Captain costume punching the letters on the front cover, but it's actually US Agent. Technically his first appearance. It's argued as to whether it's because it came out the same month as West Coast Avengers number 45, I think it was. But his first appearance was in both of those issues that month. So whichever one came out.
I think I think I've read up to this point or just after it. So from where Roger Stern takes on the book in the what is it? The
Early
280s.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, or it was like the two issues 250, somewhere in around there through the
Yeah, up to
JMD. I think
255
I've,
ish, I think.
yeah, I think I've read up to this point with the Cap No More story
Okay.
or the Captain.
Yeah.
And so, but I know that a lot of the stuff that follows after that is really strong, adventurous, like
Oh, yeah.
great, great stories.
These are really just, this is just no holds barred, good,
Fun.
fun, upbeat. I always say fun, don't I? But it is. They're just fun comics, man. I mean, you got Baron Zemo in there. Crossbones is introduced. You got the Red Skull coming back. You've got
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff in there, and then it's just before it drops off because I don't necessarily recommend Volume 3.
Yeah, if that's fair. And that's something that a lot of people have mentioned. But again, very long run. And there's a lot of really key classic Captain America stories. Dave, take it
Yeah.
away with your number two.
Oh, all right then, since you asked me so nicely. My number two is The Terrifics Complete Collection, trade paperback. Now, this is by Jeff Lemire, Ivan Reyes, Doc Shaner, Del Eaglesham, Gene Luen Yang, Stephen Segovia, Dan Mora, and more. It's from DC Comics. It's so if you are going to go see Superman this summer, which I hope you will, and I hope you like it. I'm really looking forward to it, man. I'm
Me
really
too. Me
looking forward to
too.
it.
Oh man.
But a couple of the characters from that series are in this team. So it's a very, very random team. It almost looks kind of Doom Patrol-y. It's Plastic Man, Metamorpho. Is that Elastigirl? Mr. Terrific. Now, this collects these 4 volumes, so it's going to be about this thick.
Nice.
760 pages. And it's the complete series. It's a bit of an oddball series. I've read the first 2 volumes. Who is that? I can't remember who the 4th member of the team is. Isn't that terrible? Um, Phantom Girl.
Okay. So I feel like it was, if I remember correctly, because I read the first volume of this,
Oh, you did?
and I did, and I remember Jeff Lemire talking about it at a Toronto Fan Expo Con.
Yeah.
Basically, them kind of trying to do a Fantastic Four sort of
Oh,
thing.
okay. Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah. It's, I mean, yeah,
The Terrifics, the
that does make
Fantastic, yeah,
sense. Yeah. It's
yeah.
got that kind of feel to it, hasn't it? But I mean, what's interesting about it, and the reason why I stopped reading was because partway through 2, they bump into, or is it the end of 1, I think, they bump into Tom Strong
Okay,
from Alan Moore's ABC comics. So I thought, you know what, I need to read my Tom Strong book to actually appreciate this moment. And then got partway through Tom Strong, got a bit bored because it was Alan Moore being Alan Moore again. And then I forgot to finish reading the Terrifics, which is shameless. So or shameful at least. So I mean I've already got them. However, there's a part of me that's very tempted to sell these and get the chunker because it's a chunker, isn't it? It's a chunker,
it's
and it's going to
Chunker,
have the
yeah.
Terrifics written all down the spine in nice big, nice fancy font. So this thing, like I say, 760 pages. I mean, like, oh, look at that. Imagine that. It's out on the 29th of July, so towards the end of the month,
It's
and
about 25
paperback
issues.
30.
That's like the perfect amount in the collection for me now. I
Yeah,
love that 20. Like the Doctor Fate was around that amount of issues.
yeah, yeah, about the
Great.
same, right? It's just nice, and you know you feel like it's. I like carrying these around with me as well. Just take your book out. When I read them on the train, I get stopped by
Because
the
you're always taking
ticket
your book
person,
out
just
on the
going,
train.
"What the hell have you got? That's going to take you ages, mate." It's like, no, it's mostly pictures. You're fine.
All right.
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna go to DC.
Mm.
I am going to go with The Deceased Omnibus by Tom Taylor. The 2 volumes that I've read in the hardcovers that came out. Let's see what this collects here. Deceased 1 to 6, A Good Day to Die, issue 1. Dead Planet, which is the second series, issues 1 to 7. The Unkillables 1 to 3. Hope at World's End 1 to 15. The War of
All
the
right
Undead
then.
Gods. The page counts 1,056 pages. So this is a legit full-on omnibus. Yes, those are 15 issues. Good to know. Um, for those who haven't read it, I'll just go over a quick book overview of it because it is quite interesting. And it is quote unquote out of continuity. So it's a great place to jump on if you want to just read a really cool story involving the DC universe. And if you have even like a peripheral knowledge of the characters, you'll be fine. So, a mysterious technovirus has been released on Earth, infecting 600 million people, turning them into vicious undead creatures. With the world turned into a war zone, can the heroes face their most monstrous threat? Now, it sounds like your typical zombie fare. The difference is the people that it infects. It's it's no holds barred because again, Tom Taylor's has the gloves off in a way where he can break the toys in this one.
Hmm.
So there's things that happen that make you go, "Oh no, you're not supposed to do that. You don't do that. That'll destroy the character." And sometimes it does, which is the fun part of series like this, kind of like Injustice, where nothing is off the table because it's this story. It's not affecting everything else. And sometimes that's the most refreshing way to read comics when
Yeah, it's
I
freeing, isn't
feel
it? Really?
it is because I feel, and this is someone else had said this it was Katie Swatsky who had said it to me. She goes, the best superhero stories have already been told. Like trying to make your name retelling the same story that you loved and trying to just tweak it to the way you wanted it to be is kind of what's happening. She didn't say all that, but more so to the effect that like those Captain America stories from Mark Grunwald and Mark Waid and Ed Brubaker, like it's not you're not going to top a lot of this stuff, you know? And there's
Well,
so much of it we could go back and read
yeah,
now.
yeah. Well, even Grant Morrison said when he was writing the X-Men, you basically just have to disguise the fact that you're giving people essentially the same stories they've read before, but just a little tweak. Whereas with these kind of Elseworld stories, especially when the way Tom Taylor does it is really really smart. I really like the way that he plays it. It was like when he left Injustice, and it just wasn't quite as good. And I think he came back at the end or returned to it later. But he's got this knack for it. He does kind of get the characters. He knows that if you just change a little bit of this and turn up the volume here, it's going to just create this whole different result. And the continuity, it doesn't matter who dies, basically. It's almost like Game of Thrones DC.
Yeah, yeah. It's like DC being an Image comic where anything's on the table, what you
Yeah.
want to do with it. And some things that you wouldn't do, like if you remove this character, who's going to want to read the story now? That could happen
Yeah.
in this, which is really cool. And scary. It's legitimately scary, especially because I don't think this was coming out during that time, but we had, a global
Oh,
scare
yeah.
of a virus, and so if you read this post that, knowing that, shit can shut down, when the superheroes are being affected, you're like, when if that gets
Oh,
Batman, we're in
yeah.
trouble.
Yeah. Oh,
Those
point.
that while you're reading it, you're thinking about that, like,
Uh
damn, that'd be a crazy zombie.
huh.
So deceased.
Zombat.
Zombat. Yeah, that probably
Oh,
it's probably a
excellent. That's a
series.
good choice. I think that is then complete, isn't it, as well? That's the whole
Yeah,
saga.
yeah.
I'm going to jump into my third for tonight, and I can't say the name of it. So I don't know if oh, wish me luck, man. Um I don't know if Raf's here yet, but this this is mentioned in our upcoming manga episode, but I wanted to mention it here too. It's from Dark Horse Comics. It's called Planetes. Plan. Oh God! Make it stop. Planetes. Planets. Deluxe edition, book one. It is a manga. It's by Makoto Yukimura. 528 pages, so another little bit of a chunker. They've done a really lovely job of this book, man. Really, really, it looks gorgeous. It's nice. I want it on my
If you
shelf.
could if you
However,
could tell me the name of it, I'd look it up. But
can't tell you that.
since
I'll show you the front cover of the versions I've got. This is the paperback versions that came out a few years back. This is highly praised, and yet again, shamefully, I'm going to
yes.
fess up to the fact that I have not read it. I've had these books for years, but I haven't got around to reading it yet. But seeing that silver covered hardcover from Dark Horse made me go like, oh damn, do I get rid of these and get that? And then I'll definitely want to read it. It looks nice and tactile with its opposite of embossed. Embossed? What's it when it's inverted bossed? Like a boss. That's what it's called. I work in
Busted.
print. Busted.
You gotta fight!
This is the first half of the saga, so it's 2 books. This one is out the 29th of July, and book 2 is out in December, so you'll have the whole saga in 2 volumes, really, really, really nice volumes by the end of the year.
Beautiful.
And that's
So
called Planeeets.
I think Planeeets is good.
Okay,
Planeeets.
I'll take that.
Why not? Like, what do you want from us, man? Trying our best out here.
We're trying. Strap in. Character reading orders. We've got Peter David's X Factor Investigations run, which gets the spotlight in our X Factor reading order 2004 to 2013. Events reading orders. We've got the Superman-centric The Secret Revealed. Years later, Superman's identity runs the risk of becoming public again in 2020's The Truth Revealed by Brian Michael Bendis. The Teen Titans and Omega Men join forces in Storm Warning, spinning out of Crisis on Infinite Earths. And speaking of that event, we have the most comprehensive Crisis on Infinite Earths reading order available on the site. Marvel's Ultimatum rocked the Ultimate Universe in 2009, so you can see what order to read that in and what you can skip. Get the complete guide to Spider-Man's Brand New Day from 2007, and head into the Valiant universe with the updated entry spotlighting At War with Unity. Background reading in our special extra little bonusy features, we've got Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe, Book of the Dead, Where Are They Now?, which features the Ani-Men. Don't all rush to read that one. And finally, podcast and video. Eric spends quality time with Ron Friends in our most recent creator interview. Find out what we're most looking forward to with our June 2025 incoming collector editions. Our most wanted DC Omnibus list for 2025 has been getting a lot of attention, which is grand. And finally, get into some overlooked, deserving reads with our top 10 hidden gems episode, or as I like to call it, our top 9 hidden gems plus 1.
Shut up and shit in your shoes.
Right, we had a comment from I'm so sorry if I balls this up. Trajsen Seski 2968, who said Superman Lost was amazing and I do consider it a hidden gem. Most people slept on it.
Thank you.
So
It slept.
I'm
That's
gonna-
the term as well.
I'm going to
Slept
take
on.
off my Superman shoes and
Yeah.
shit in them.
Don't shit in those ones. Those are nice shoes.
Thank you.
All right.
You got a fan.
I got one. All right. And my mom. Let's go back into
I
the
like to
countdown.
think she loves us both equally.
She does. She does pay attention to when you get your hair cut and all that kind of stuff.
Aw. Thanks,
Um,
Eric's mom.
I've got a completely blind buy, or maybe not a blind buy. If I buy this, it have to be on sale because it is a blind purchase, and you'll probably be able to talk about it or talk me out of it.
Okay.
And it is Strike Force Moritari.
Oh, interesting.
Peter Gillis,
Mm.
Brent Anderson,
Mm.
Mark Bagley, the epic sci-fi cult favorite sensation of the 80s is collected in a single hardcover. I'm a sucker for sci-fi genre,
Mhm.
especially cult classics, stuff that is off the beaten path that I gave a shot to Sigil. I read the whole
Yeah,
thing,
of course you did, yeah.
right? Just to be disappointed at the fact that it never ended. But anyways, this is Strike Force Moritari issues 1 to 31 and Strike Force Moritari Electric Undertow 1 to 5.
Mhm.
And are you familiar with it?
I'm only familiar with it by name. I used to see the adverts inside the old 80s
Okay.
comics
Okay.
for it, but I've always been curious about it. And when I saw that they'd done an omnibus of it, I was really interested, but I completely overlooked it. But I don't know anything about it. But I think all I know is I think it stands alone. It's not in the Marvel Universe.
When I was reading the description of it, I didn't realize it was being published by Marvel at first because I just looked at the cover, the creators. But the premise, a savage alien race called the Horde has invaded Earth. That's very typical, enslaving its people and plundering its resources. Scientists have devised a method of fighting back, the Morituri process, which grants enhanced ability to a select few compatible humans. Still nothing too crazy. Your standard fare, but the transformation is fatal within a year. Now, a handful of brave volunteers make Strike Force Moritari an elite, experimental, and highly effective fighting force against the Horde's depredations. But the heat of every battle, the celebration of every victory, and every quiet moment is also tainted by the inescapable knowledge that win or lose, their fate is sealed, which is cool. That's an interesting premise to go through a run of comics that is telling the story of characters whose fate is basically sealed, as the description says, but is it? You got to read it to find out. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, so I'm intrigued. I want to know what happens. It's a sci-fi cult classic. I'm in.
Uh-huh. No, likewise. I really, really want to read it. Funnily enough, Marvel Man, who is another great source for that era of comics, has literally just
Thank
said
you,
of the very few Marvel 80s comics, one of the very few Marvel 80s
James
comics I
Hudnall.
haven't
Thank
read.
you.
It's a bit of a mystery, this one. It's set on Earth 1287, apparently, and it is completely standalone. These two series collected in this book are the only stories set in that world. So this is completely self-contained, and as far as I'm aware, it's complete. James
In.
Hudnall was the other writer who also did work
Thank
on
you.
Alpha Flight, said Omega Bread.
Thank you, Omega Bread. And that's why you guys are
The
so
greatest.
priceless. Yes, you keep us honest.
Okay, my number 4 tonight is X Factor by Peter David Omnibus Volume 4. This shouldn't come as any surprise. This wraps up his X Factor Investigations run and his entire X Factor run, because initially he did the issue 71 upwards of X Factor, or number 70, which was the epilogue to Muir Island saga, and then they did the government team after that. So he did that run, and then he came back and did X Factor Investigations, which won loads and loads of acclaim, but not a huge number of people read it. And then that series finished, got to its end with issue 262, and then they did All New X Factor, which ran for 20 issues. I thought it was less than that. Wasn't quite as strong, had a whole different vibe again, but some familiar faces, some new, like Gambit was in it and stuff. Yeah, this is by Peter David, Leonard Kirk, Neil Edwards, and more. It's 1,152 pages. It's the 2005 X Factor series, 233 to 262. The all-new X Factor follow-up, I mentioned, 1 to 20. And X-Men Legends, the 2021 series, 5 to 6, which is an untold tale, a two-part untold tale set between his original X Factor run, between issues 75 and 76. So this is now complete. This is his entire work on X Factor. Of course, we haven't mentioned yet or made mention of the fact that we lost Peter David recently. That really surprised me how hard that hit. His work's always been a really big part of my life, like as a comic obsessive, and then particularly obsessed with his Hulk and his X Factor. Loved his Captain Marvel, but it didn't, for me, it was never as good as those other two. And of course, there's tons and tons of other work, and there's still loads of his stuff from him that I've never read. So there's
So
loads out there,
prolific.
incredibly prolific. It's impressive the amount of work that he put out, and there's very little that didn't
He
hit.
wrote novels too.
He wrote novels, yeah, a lot of Star Trek novels and other
Like he,
sci-fi properties.
when you think of the comic stuff he wrote, like you're right, he's got all of those X Factor, 4 volumes of X Factor, 4 volumes of The Incredible Hulk
Hmm.
of that original run, plus a fifth one with
Yeah,
all the
that's true. And the
other stuff
Maestro
he did,
one,
the Maestro one, right?
exactly.
Jeez. And then think about the
Spider-Man 2099,
Spider-Man 2099. Yeah,
and
two
then
omnibus full of that.
Supergirl, which I think they're starting to
Aquaman,
act, yeah. And then you've got the odd little thing here
crazy.
and there, like Marvel versus DC, which he wrote half of, and
Yeah. No,
there's
he was
tons.
yeah.
So
Ah man. It's tough to see the a lot of these creators
hmm,
no longer with us. I'm gonna do what I've been trying to do every episode and shout out Superman. Let's give
really,
him some yeah, let's
when you mentioned him in the top 10 80 Spider-Man, I was very surprised.
I found a way to sneak it in. Um, Superman, Omnibus by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Volume
Ah,
1. That's very cool. It's a little bit annoying for myself because I did buy the War World Compendium,
so did I.
and I was really excited that they had put that together because this had come out in trades and hardcovers and the like. So to see them be committed to like this story being featured in a collected edition of some kind so soon was really promising. I was really excited about that. Now they're really going all the way with it and saying this run was so strong, we're gonna put out 2 Superman omnis from Philip Kennedy Johnson. Strong stuff. He takes one of my favorite Superman storyline or eras of the post John Byrne, Superman, The Exile, and Other Stories omnibus. The War World with Mongol. Superman is like basically in a gladiator arena, fighting for his life. This one, it returns him there. There's a certain homage paid to that story, but it's a different story.
Mm.
But if you liked that one and those moments where he's in the gladiatorial arena, this one really leans into that whole aspect a
Yeah,
little bit more. Yeah.
it's
And with
really cool.
it's really cool.
Yeah. You're
I
right.
mean, I compare a lot of the stories to Planet Hulk, like that
Well,
premise of Planet Hulk of this person being stuck somewhere and
alien
becoming the
world-ish
yeah.
gladiatorial arena. It's the classic, but then it always makes you think of early Fantastic Four stories where they did that. That's why I always kind of get thrown by the gladiatorial arena. But it depends how you do it. And in this, it somehow feels fresh.
It is. It's a very original take. Like as much as it's more so I'm making those comparisons to say, hey, if you if that was up your alley,
Yeah.
this might be. This might be right up your alley. So check it out.
Really good choice. I'm really, really glad of all the Superman books, and there are many coming out in July. I'm really glad you picked that one because it's not necessarily the most obvious. Because if people do search for Superman War World, that might not come up.
So would it happen to be a hidden gem?
No, my
Take it
last
away. Yes.
two Nidget is one that I nearly missed somehow. I don't quite know what happened, but I'm so excited for this book. This is the entire series collected in 600 pages in a deluxe edition. It's by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks. It's called Local Man. Collecting Local Man 1 to 13 and issue 25, Local Man Gold, and Local Man Bad Girls. This is a shameless celebration of 90s image garishness. It parodies it and adores it and celebrates it as it goes. This book is one of my favorites of the last couple of years. I think I listed Local Man Volume 1 in our top 20 books of the year to 2023. I love it. Tim Seeley never fails for me. He's one of those people you just go, I don't know if I like the look of it. Oh, Tim Seeley's on it. Yeah, all right. I'm in.
Yeah. I did a whole month of almost a whole month of May or April of just reading Tim Seeley. I
Really?
did
Oh, because you did
Revival
Revival. Yeah.
and Nightwing.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. That was good. You're right. He is a solid, trustworthy writer. I'm not sure when it came to the Grayson stuff if I liked his stories or Tom King's stories more because I wasn't sure.
Oh, I wasn't sure if
I,
they were just co-written.
yeah, I can't remember the credits and whatnot because they're both credited there. But anyways, um, yeah, you're right. He's a very safe bet. This was on my list, Local Man. I
Oh,
hadn't
it
read it,
was.
but I was intrigued by it because of the creative team, and of course the cover of the book was
Mm.
appealing. My numero cinco.
Yeah. Go for it.
This one is this one is a lob. This was very pretty basic, pretty simple. It's Spider-Man by Michelini and Bagley, Omnibus Volume 2. For you Spider-Man fans, I know there's a lot of us out there and some on the chats right now live. This is a really cool Omni. If you're a fan of this era, I think people in my age bracket were at the perfect age when this stuff was coming out, so it is chock full of nostalgic feelings when you go through it. It collects Amazing Spider-Man 376 to 393, Annuals 2728, Web of Spider-Man 101 to 103. So this is during the Dave's favorite era. That's why his face is kind of like,
What were
meh.
the
This is the
issues?
maximum carnage era. As I'm going through it, I'm like, there's a lot of crossovers here, and that's because you get to the maximum carnage time and
Oh,
all
that
the
was.
four titles and there's some people who look back at that and be like, I love that stuff.
Oh, it's
It
it's
depends.
fascinating to watch when I post stuff about Maximum Carnage because you get one extreme or the other. No one
Yeah.
kind of goes it was all right or like no I kind of liked it. Like it's either this was terrible or this was so much fun. It's never in
And
the
I think even
middle.
the creators who worked on it feel that way about it.
Yeah, I think it did go on too long that story because
Yeah, it was like
it's
what, 14 issues? It
yeah
dragged it out.
yeah it's
Yeah, it was a
really
long run.
dragged out.
So it's a whole year's
Yeah,
worth, right?
yeah.
But
If it was a
for, I
monthly
guess,
books, it would be over a year.
yeah,
But it was
it
just
was,
3 months of not any actual carnage.
This is all stuff right before the Clone War.
Yeah,
For anybody who's
yeah. So this takes us up to what was it, 393? No,
393. Yeah.
yeah. This is just before the Clone Saga starts. At least from an Amazing Spider-Man perspective. I do still
Yes.
wish they collected the four titles all together instead of splitting them over to doing it chronologically, like they did with the alien costume Omnis. They just did them in order, like you mix them all together. But now you've still got to do what you had to do in the 90s, but with so much more difficulty. It's just like, I've got to pick up this book, and then I've got to pick up this book over here whenever they release that. Like, why didn't they just do it all in order? Like they're doing with the Superman triangle. Triangle
Right.
era. Just put it
Right.
in order.
Right. Absolutely. For the Spider-Man completists, this is a fun time, and it'll definitely bring you back some good old-fashioned memories of playing at the arcade, having candy or a drink that was way too sweet, and reading an overly colorful comic book that just makes you feel like playing video games when you're done. I don't know. It's just one of those comfort comic omnis
There are some
for
really
those
nice
Spider-Man.
issues in here, especially like that Bagley stuff. I really like Bagley on Spider-Man.
What was
Uh,
on the didn't make it list but's coming out?
should I just do the lot?
Whatever you want.
Let's do it. I'll just reel it off. Okay, there's still quite a few books coming out, and I think that this kind of underlines a point here. Okay, so get ready. From Albatross Funny Books, we've got Dr. Worthless by Harold Schechter and Eric Powell, which is about, it's the only one I'm going to explain. This is a biography of was it Frederick Wortham, the guy that nearly shut down comics in the 1950s?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
about him, but it's a balanced biog. So it actually tells some of the good stuff he did that a lot of people don't know about.
That's
So
good. That's
I'm
fair.
quite
I like
interested
that.
in this one. But as for the rest, from Boom, we got Black Badge by Matt Kint. Omega Bread, cheers for that one. Dark Horse, Blue Book Library Edition, Madman Omnibus, which is the paperback version of the Madman collection, much more affordable. Tomb Raider Colossal Collection, Volume 1. DC Comics, Authority Omnibus, Volume 1. Batman War Games Omnibus, Flex Mentallo Man of Muscle Mystery Deluxe Edition, re-release. John Constantine Hellblazer by Damien Delano Omnibus Volume 2, Justice League International Book 2 Around the World, Nightwing by Tom Taylor Omnibus, Shade the Changing Man Omnibus Volume 1, Superman The Last Days of Lex Luthor, Superman City of Tomorrow Compendium Chunker, and Superman by Kurt Busiek Volume 2. There's a lot of Superman coming out, like a lot, but there's also a lot of other books coming out, so I kind of feel they should pick one. Or spread out the Superman a bit so that Superman fans have got a hope of getting them.
It's just for the random fans that are gonna go to the bookstores after the movie.
Everyone's
So
going
the
to be
table is full
broke for the
of
summer.
product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't
I'll be
agree with
broke.
it.
My top 10 at the end of the year might just be Superman books.
I'm expecting it to be for every episode from this point. Image Comics. Old Guard The Immortal Collection, Letter 44 Compendium, Chunker, Sam and Twitch Compendium Volume 1, also Chunker, the Standstill Deluxe Edition. From Marvel, we've got Agent Venom Omnibus, Avengers West Coast Epic Collection, Vision Quest, John Byrne's run begins. It might even be the whole run, actually, thinking about it. Micronauts Epic Collection, They Come From Inner Space. They're re-releasing X Factor by Peter David Omnibus Volume 1. And there's X-Men Onslaught Aftermath, which I was going to list, but it's missing some issues that makes no sense for them not to include, some X Factor issues that tie in really closely to the X-Men issues. And finally, from Oni Press, Meat Eaters appealed to me. But that's a lot to choose from in 1 month. And it was actually quite hard to just pick 5, which is great. It's great to have a lot to choose from.
Yeah.
But if you do like to get a lot of different stuff in a variety, it's tough. So I'm just hoping that some of these don't disappear, because it's not going to be a 1 monther, is it? That's more than a paycheck.
That was fun, as always. I'm looking forward to July. There'll be some movies coming out in July.
Oh, yeah. Anything particular?
I am definitely excited for the Formula One movie. You weren't expecting me to say that, but also Superman.
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, it's with Brad Pitt.
Oh,
I'm really excited for that.
Cool.
You're not a big Formula One fan, but I watch it every weekend when it's on.
You.
Yeah, I love it.
Good.
I want to actually it speaking of England, they're the race that takes place in Silverstone is the one that probably would be my favorite to go to.
Well, if
If I
you
ever,
ever come over,
yeah. Will you
so
come? Will you
give
go
me
together?
no, but knock on my door afterwards, and we'll have a few jars.
Okay, sounds
Governor.
good. Governor. Bollocks. Horror. Horror.
Does it really sound like that? Horror. I
Horror.
suppose it does.
I don't know. Everybody watching with us on Twitch, always a pleasure. Looking forward to it. We got some cool content coming your way. Um, some just by happenstance and some that have been organized. So we'll keep you posted with that stuff. Be on the lookout for some exclusives that will be coming either to YouTube or to the podcast. Check those out. And don't forget to visit us at omniversecomics.guide for all of your reading orders, for your creator interviews, and collector item specials. And remember, Dave's reading orders are second to none.
Oh.
OmniverseComics.guide. Thank you, everybody. Don't spend all your money on your comic books. Make sure you pay your bills.
Don't listen to him. Take care, lads. Great show as per usual. I'm off to fart in my neighbour's face. Why have you written moob?